you have to be at that main screen before you even
they
start
weren't working, or
riding in
maybe
order to,
what happened though is they broke a little early on that.
Right,
You
they
know,
did.
that was a little surprising. They
I
didn't
wish
break
they
where I
were
thought they were going to break.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. We got 5 seconds before
Boy,
that gate drops.
The gate is going to drop, and we'll see pandemonium. But don't worry, it's not the end of the race. And we've got a big push out there. No one wants to get left behind. That is well established. It's so fun to watch the lineup here, which you can't see. Maybe we'll take that one of these starts. We'll just look straight down the line, and we'll show you all the hard work that they're doing. They're doing all this hard work, which doesn't really get them any gain, but it just prevents a tragic loss. And we saw that yesterday with Carrie Conabear, who missed a move early and found herself off the back. Everyone cheered her and said, get back on, get back on. And she did. She pulled back like 15, 20 seconds from essentially the entire group. But it was too much, too soon, and she was not able to hang on for the rest of that race and found herself in the performance bracket for today's race. However, she showed she was made of something else.
That's right. That's right.
So you don't want to be in that position. None of these guys do. Delabo does not want to be in that group at all. He wants to be up here. Paul is a strong rider. He's not very far from us. We can see, of course, the rider Kim Little and that famous black, almost alien kit, the black and the green. He's in real life as well as he is in real kit. That is kind of the sign and the mark, as they're really picking up here, the sign and the mark of really an endemic, right? A native to the virtual world here, which is these riders that have a real life kit that matches perfectly their in-world kit. You know your team has been around a bit.
If you have a real world kit.
If you have a real world kit that matches your in-world kit.
That's right.
Now, then we'll tell you straight out, the folks at Zwift have not been adding at near the clip the number of jerseys that they have added before. Partly the reason, and we'll keep this here. We just want to make sure no one gets dropped here. Mathieu Joujon finds himself just a couple of meters off the back of that group, quickly accelerates and pulls himself back in. That is the critical piece. You got to stay with this group. This is not where the race is won, but it certainly could be where the race is lost if you find yourself off the back.
Yeah, and hilly reverse is different than hilly forward. So,
totally.
So yesterday's race in the preliminaries, they were coming out in a very short flat before it hits that climb.
Just pounding it straight up. Now this is a little bit more rolly, but I promise you, if you're watching at home, this is not an easy start. I don't care what you say. It is not nearly flat enough. Now that route that we started up the mountain, boy, that was an easier start. That's what I wish every start was, but that's not the way this island is designed.
Nope.
The makers did not build it that way, and that's the way we race. We follow the meta that we have here. You know what the meta means?
No.
So the meta is a very esports related term. The meta is how we describe the way the rules lay out and the type of play that comes from it. So if we're talking about the meta in Zwift, as we're coming up this, we know that climbing is always one of the first things out of the gate. So you're going to choose lighter bikes, lighter wheels. You want to be able to remove that, and you're going to try to carry into this race, because you know the meta, right? The meta game. You're going to try to carry into it a feather or something that's going to help you close the distance if you need it. And so the savvy riders are doing that. You'll notice that some of these riders did not spend the power up that they had. You can see it in the upper left-hand corner of their screen. But they're playing to the meta that they're going to climb early here, and they're making decisions based on those things. Now, it's still early in the race. There are not going to be a lot of fireworks yet, we don't think. But we'd love to get a sense from Coach what's going on course. And that's why it's so beautiful. We can throw to our guy, Hunter Allen, the world-class coach, to help break down what's happening. Coach, what do we got?
Hey, I am down here with Antoine and Matthew. We're going to do a little bit of English and French questions. So, Antoine, give a little interview here with Matthew, okay?
Mathieu, how do you feel in this second stage?
J'ai vraiment dû me mettre dans le rouge dans le premier col. Donc là, c'est dur, j'ai les jambes explosées. J'essaie de récupérer, mais il y a plein d'à-coups.
It's so hard. Most attack for Mathieu, it's difficult.
All right. He says that it's difficult and it's hard, and he needs to make sure he stays with the group. So, we've got a big group here. They're not riding easily, and they're riding near their threshold. They're at their functional threshold power. They're all close together, and it's going to be tough. Matthew is doing a great job here. We're really excited to see this. Back to you, Chris and Beth.
Yeah, my translator said that Jujan was saying, no microphone, please.
Move that microphone from my face. That's my French heard that as well. Get that thing out of my face.
But it was very polite because it was very polite.
I believe it was actually get that thing out of my face, bro. Okay, so that's
we'll
what's going on.
We'll have to ask one of our French translators
Absolutely.
how that works.
Yes, and we see this big push on the front here. We're seeing interesting things happening all over the group. But one of the exciting things, though, Andy Jackson with that killer face on his face right there.
He is all business. He gets to work, and that's the work face right there.
It is. Now, I think that the real fireworks are going to come. They're really still kind of throwing little attacks at each other. I don't know whose bad idea this was, but everybody's jumping on board. If I'm the guy in the group, I'm usually the Il Patron in my group saying, whoa, boys, whoa, let's back it down a little bit. But no one is doing that. You have to have that in multiple languages here for CVR World Cup. But we're seeing more and more fireworks. Scotty Weiss not venturing far from the front. He is trolling, as we describe it. He is trolling the front of this race and trying to stay connected. I usually troll the back of the race and try to stay connected, but Scotty Weiss with his stripes does much better than my one stripe. And I won't tell you what color that is, but it's not blue. So we will stay glued on this group. Justin Purificati, you can see his stats. He's keeping his cadence nice and high. Got a little surprise in his pocket. He may have to use it on this lap. Now, Beth, what's going on with these power-ups? These are certainly part of the strategic view as they come over the bridge here. But what is the key to using them, and how often do they get these things?
So in the game, there are a few types of power-ups that you can get. There's the feather, which will make you lighter. And how that helps you in the game is the calculation of your weight to your watt output. It moves you faster through the game when you use the feather. There's an aero helmet that will give you a little bit of an aerodynamic advantage, and also the big van that you can get behind, the drafting boost. So in this kind of race, you maybe want that aero when you're coming on a flat for a sprint, coming to the banner. And every time you come to a banner, it refreshes if you used your last one.
Yes.
So maybe if you have one you don't like, you can drop it.
And you'll see that. You'll see that strategic dropping of those power-ups that they're trying to upgrade. Now, the danger is you don't always get one. Sometimes you get the dreaded...
We saw that in the earlier game where someone dropped it right before the banner, hoping to get something better.
Yes.
And they got, experience points.
Ryan Christensen with that big kick right here. He's accidentally hit his keyboard there, and he was going to send a group message to everybody. And that group message, he was going to be, see you later, boys. And right behind him, Fulford dropping stuff, also that big aero helmet, but he's not going to pass with it. It's just going to bring him up to it. We're on board with Tim Fulford. Those boys are gearing up to go. Maybe the message he was going to send was, come on, Timmy boy, it's time to go. You see that orange chat on the side, but the ODZ rider comes over the top. It's like a wrestling move. He's going to come over the top and break a chair over the head of Tim Fulford right there at the front, and they are really digging it here. Now, the danger is somebody could get dropped off the back here. We won't know for a moment here, but we're definitely seeing boys put into a spot of bother. 190 beats per minute. Will the heart actually beat that fast? We'll ask Coach here.
I think that might happen when you're under 30.
Maybe so, when you're under 30. That's right. That's right.
I'm not sure I've seen 190.
Kim
Look at
Little
Kim's serious face there.
He's like the David Beckham of indoor cycling. He's just too handsome. We just can't handle it, but he doesn't care about that. He is just working this, going to stay connected to the front. Eyes wide open, looking around, gathering every piece of data as the really good ones do. It's more than just the power you can put in your legs. It's that clever modeling of every little piece of information you get in your mind to make these decisions about what comes next. And there's nobody in this field better at it than Kim Little. Wow, what effort from this group. So as this group comes up to this flat, it doesn't look like we've separated anybody at this point. Looking for these numbers as we come. We're seeing lots of hard effort in this group. What effect is this going to have as they come up over the top of this for the first time?
Well, they're still together over the top, so that you're not going to see that break that happens down the backside. So this is a 2-lap course. So what'll be interesting is what happens on the second lap at that point.
Yes.
Because someone might be not making the big move. Maybe they're just testing what they have. Maybe they're testing what their competitors have because they know they come back around to this spot again. And so as they come over the top, they'll come back down. Maybe we'll see a little softening, but I don't think so. I don't think these guys are going to take any recovery on that down. But they're going to come up the banner. If anyone's at threat of being dropped back, they're going to pop a feather if they have it.
Right.
Because you do not want to drop off the back here because you will slip back.
Right, and a lot of these guys are probably going to either want that feather so they don't get connected on the climb just past Hanks, that tough section we just saw a moment ago. But lots of them are probably going to jump if they've got a truck of some kind.
Yep, that's right.
Well,
that's right.
And as they're coming up here, you'll probably see a couple of these folks drop them. But it looks like quite a few people moved them, and we've got a big dig on the outside. Kim responds. He does what he can. But Ryan Christensen is also in the chase group. There's a little bit. Is that Ian Bibby off the front? Hard to tell from this angle, but we'll see here in a second.
Trying to get
Justin
up there.
Whoever it is, it may be Justin Pierre-Vicati. We're probably going to see a change in jersey right here as he's going to have this KOM, the first across the line, the fastest across the line, and it appears to be exactly that. Justin Pierre-Vicati. In game here, we're going to see a big change. Now, they're going to ease up a little bit. They're not going to get a real aerodynamic advantage. They definitely want to be in a group, but this just broke the group into a couple of pieces, and we're going to see exactly what's going on there. Unfortunate, the wreckage behind this group right here. Although we've got nearly everybody together, we've got Sean off the back. Sean Gray separated from the group. He's got a lot of work to do to get back in. Thankfully, he's going to see these watts drop, but he's going to have to empty his tank in hopes that he can refill it just to catch on to the rest of this group. Nobody wants to ride this final lap alone.
No, they don't, and especially with that big group with all that aerodynamic, the speed, just the gap grows. Even if you're putting in the same matching the watts, the gap just grows. As they come down, we've got Weiss and Little and Christensen and all the names that you'd expect to hear in the front. It's looking really good, and they're not letting up. There was a couple little digs and it was answered. But that last little rise before at the top or the banner, it flattens out a little bit and then it comes up. That's a little sneaky spot to get because if you can get down the backside, you have a chance of opening it up.
Oh boy, you do.
Because the other people are still climbing, and you've just got that little edge to kind of bring it down the backside.
Yep. And we've got Hunter right next to Ryan Christensen. This is the perfect spot to get a couple of thoughts from him. This is a little bit of a calm section right here before we get into the climbing again.
All right, I'm down here with Ryan Christensen. Just made it over that little hill. That was a big, tough effort. Ryan, man, what's happening? How you feeling?
Yeah, it was definitely a different tactic from yesterday with having the heats, but it's been all right so far. The climb, I'm just a bit too eager and spent too many cookies at the start, but see if I can make some points in these next two races.
All right, excellent. And right now you're kind of taking it easy here on the flat. That's nice. You can relax a little bit. Let the heart rate coming down. Is that making a big difference for you?
Yeah, this whole racing here is all about keeping the heart rate low, so I can, when that time comes, you can take it to the max.
All right, awesome. There you hear it right from Ryan, one of the favorites. He is saving some energy right now and getting ready for that next lap. Back to you guys.
Awesome. Ryan Christensen with those headphones around his ears. We've learned a couple of things about him. He actually has been listening to quite a bit of Ace of Base and ABBA today as he warms up, which is important that you have your tunes. It won't surprise you that Scotty Weiss listens to nothing but machine noise and heavy metal and sometimes animals fighting.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Right, that's what he listens to in his headphones.
The sound effect station?
Actually, I think he's recorded each of these animal fights himself because that's how hardcore Scotty Weiss is. Now, he is drilling it on the front here, setting a new pace for these guys, saying, come with me, boys. We'll see who's got it. And this is where you start to test the legs. This is not the final chapter here, but he knows he's got to make up some time on Ian Bibby, or rather, some points on Ian Bibby.
That's
He'd love to get Ian separated here. Ian kind of in the back of this group, and that's one of those dangerous spots. He climbs back through. He's doing more work than maybe he wants to do, but Scotty is dictating the pace at this point. He's making sure that he is pushing it. Now, forcing those other guys to respond in times where they might want to relax. And that's the gamesmanship here, right?
That's the gamesmanship for sure, because sometimes you're racing and you're like, okay, can we just settle in for 10 seconds and not be driving, ahead? And, when some rider is driving ahead, you have no choice. You cannot soften. Even if you're in that draft, you are still working hard. Justin Pierre-Ficati.
Yes, Justin Pierre-Ficati listening to Beyonce.
Working up at the front there, he is.
That's right. That's the Lemonade album, and that's a really good one, and we'll talk about its influence on the rest of the world later. But Justin Pierre-Ficati really, really likes girl bands as well, and boy bands as well, as you can tell by the way that he's wearing his facial hair today. Now, we gave him a little bit of grief about that, but he is entirely too popular with the ladies to not mention that, of course.
Yeah, and it looks like we've got Fulford and Jackson there taking a turn at the front.
They are, and that's good for them to make sure that they're up there. But you'll notice the savviest riders don't do that. They'll do it if they absolutely have to, but they stay near the front but not on it. And that's that kind of magic thing. Justin Pierre-Ficati certainly was setting the tempo a little while ago, but who don't you see at the front who tends to finish really strong? Trivia question.
Trivia question.
And we'll take your answers off the air. You can call into our request line and find that out. But one of the people, you don't see Kim Little. You don't see Mathieu Drujon.
Right.
They are very near the front. Matthew drifts to the front at this point, but they're really close. They're tucked in. So savvy. And if you look at their screens, you'll see Kim Little's. Now, he's riding that third player view, but sometimes, and Scotty Weiss included, will ride that first-person view where you're looking through the eyeballs so that you can really accurately see the distance between you and the other cyclist, maximizing that draft. Now, is it a difference of 1%? 0.5%? It doesn't matter because it is a difference. And these guys are generating advantage with every decision that they make. You look at a guy like Kim Little, he's got great power, but he's not here because he's just a horse. Right? A little bit of a push around the outside. Is this a drift pass? It appears to be. The numbers aren't that high. Ooh, Drujon drilling it a little bit harder. I don't know. Does he want the green jersey? He might. He might want to change a jersey here. Scotty Weiss got one. Justin Pierre-Ficati got one. But they drift through here, and they see that they're part of that sprint board over there on the left side. Nobody gets the jersey today. Drujon kind of relaxes just a little bit. But he's left this on, so we could see the moments where he is absolutely floored in the red. Topping it out, it won't even show as high as he was in watts there. But you can see, as you look at his screen, just the overall. You've got that beautiful moment of blue, which, by the way, blue to me is still difficult.
It is, but technically, I think that's your tempo.
Right.
So I mean, you're thinking like that he's like staying with this mass of riders in tempo.
Yes.
So we can take those red efforts, those threshold efforts.
And those bursts of red are that threshold. Paul Dalabot also with the same detail on the bottom of his screen. He left that on. He's going to take a drink real quick here. He's going to fix his hair. He's going to show us a little of that chest hair like a guy does. And it looks great. We're glad to have him in as they come through Sprint Down underneath the big banner here, past the waterfall. We are getting really close to where I think things are going to blow up.
Yeah, we've got Weiss at the top, so he may be positioning himself up there, yet knowing, saying, I'm gonna be at the front here. I am not going to be caught off the back. I'm going to be ready, and maybe I'm even going to start. Kim Little right behind him.
Yes. So Scotty just a little bit out of the saddle. Now, those aren't sick watts, but as small as he is, comes around and says he's going to do it. Pierre-Ficati's going to close that gap as well. These guys are jumping around Scotty. He'll spin up. You see his cadence go up, and he jumps in line with that. Justin Pierre-Ficati on the front now. Well, not on the front, but near the front, making sure that he's there. These guys are swamping and taking each other over. No one's going to get away easily here. I think the only way someone's going to get crushed off the back here is if we hear a serious pop and these guys drop. They just can't put out any more. They're being super careful here. When are they going to use these power-ups they've got? That's the big question.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see it on the hill because they've got that one last climb, or if they don't use it on the hill, they're holding on to something that might help them in the sprint.
Right. So they're making their decision. Do they have something that they want to use? Sean Gray with a worthless truck off the back there. He got trimmed in that last round of fireworks as we came up and over the hill. And sometimes that gap, if it's 2, if it's 3, that's okay. But we have everyone but Sean in this lead group. This is crazy sick. It is illegal. I'm positive of it.
And as we come across the bridge, we're going to come soon to the start of that climb.
Yes, we are.
So, and that last first lap, we saw some efforts coming around that corner of the statue, but I think that's where we're going to see some stuff. What do you think?
No kidding. Prize pool continues to rise on the cycleview.cycleagentrankings.com page. And we see Kevin Connors kicking $50 in to Paul Delabote.
If that doesn't boost your spirits, Paul.
No kidding. Kevin Connors, so excited about you. He's going to cheer you with 50 big ones. Very, very cool. Okay, we're going to take just a moment here. We may have to pull the plug on this real quick. We'll go to Coach with Andy. You know what? We're going to wait right here. We're going to pull this. Paul gets caught behind. There's a huge explosion in the field. Paul doesn't want everybody moving away from him right now. We know Scotty Weiss is in that group, and we jump to Matthew Drujon, who's hanging on. He had to drop his featherweight power right there. There's nothing he can do at this point. He's like, I've got to stay connected. We're seeing all sorts of crap being thrown out there. We've got a draft power up. We see another feather power up. Who knows? We may see the burrito come out right now. Who knows? But there's a little bit of a gap, and this can be insurmountable. Scotty Weiss moving to the front of this group. He's going to put in what he needs to put in to make sure he's in this lead collection. Now, these guys are strong. Ian Bibby right on his tail, going to close that back, and he's not going to be alone in this. No one's getting away at this point unless you're going to try to go for an attack off the back, and then you could probably pull it. But you'll notice over on the right side of this as they fight, look at these jerseys represented in this group. They have won everything that you can win out on course today with the polka dot jersey in this lead group, with the lap leader in Justin Purificati, and with that sprint leader down at the bottom as well. They're sticking together. We've got a firm group up here together. Scotty Weiss, really the instigator of that. We'll take this brief moment, and we may not have much, to jump down to Hunter right now to find out the pain that he's going through right now. And it's so exciting to see what's going on. Can we get a grunt from the field?
All right. Well, he is really, really close, really close. You know, all you have to do is just keep going. You can do it. Come on. You can do it. Come on. we got an all right. That's all we got. We got an all right. That's what he's doing.
Run.
He's right there. He's catching up. You know, he's in the chase. That's all he's got to do. On the limit, over his FTP. All right, back to you guys.
Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you.
Andy Jackson, also in French, said, "Get that thing out of my face, Coach." Oh, I love it. They are hanging on for dear life. It is primal. This is some kind of Mortal Kombat game. We'll see who's got the finishing move here in just a second. Somebody's going to have the heart ripped out of their chest. They want this win. And there are 8 guys who think they've got a chance at this. We could see real fireworks coming up and over the top right here.
And now here's that little not flat part, but right before it kicks up again. And this is where last time around Scotty just kind of got a couple seconds jump. And so that can make a difference coming down the backside. So let's see if anyone takes advantage of that last little bump here and makes a move.
You know, if anybody is going to indicate how this is going to go, the cheering in the last little bit, really digging in toward Justin Purificati. A lot of people cheering on board, liking how this is going to go. We're trying to see if we can't get these racers up into the prize pool. But there's a lot of money on the line, which we'll talk about in a second. Purificati over his shoulder with that ODZ, orange, black, and teal. He is staying right on the top of this group. He's got a trick up his sleeve, as do some of these other riders. Some of them had to lose him here just a little bit ago. Sprinting around. This is not the end of the race, but you can't let a gap go here. Are you going to use what you've got in the tank? Justin Purificati doesn't just match it. He says coming over the top. Wrestling moves again. We're going to have to come up with a wrestling move or a wrestling name for Justin Purificati. They're going to come up over this. I'm sure we're going to have a new King of the Mountain jersey awarded out of this group. This was one of the fastest. Confetti. And when you see that confetti, you know that people have put in PRs or best of 30 days, or they are wearing that jersey over the top. It looks like almost everybody survived. I don't see anybody off the back.
Oh, this sprint at the end is going to be crazy.
It is going to be. It looks like we've separated Fulford. He's digging to try to catch these guys on the descent, but I promise you, Tim, I'm sorry, those guys are going to continue to move away from you. There's 5 of them strong, and there's always somebody big on the front.
We've got Kim, and we've got Bibby, and we've got Christensen, and we've got Weiss, all of them at the front here.
Whoa, dropping a feather. What a strange time to do it. You don't want to be lighter in this section. Maybe he knows something about the mechanics that we don't. And he comes around the outside, drops that feather, and gets a little bit of a gap. Oh my goodness, I'm wrong. And of course it's Kim Little. Anybody in here surprised? Oh, I'm sorry, it's not Kim Little. Yeah, there's Kim hanging on the back right there. Christensen. Yeah, he was keeping it a little close to the vest here, but everybody has got a chance here.
That's right. Oh my gosh, as it comes out, the sprint is right around the corner here. We come under the bridge. We've got Weiss, we've got Christensen, we've got Purificati. Anyone can have it when you drop the power. This is getting so exciting. Who's going to drop it? Who's going to bring that big power? We're going to see those red numbers coming soon.
There's one dropping right now.
Yeah, there's a little arrow boost right now. A little bit early here.
Inside of probably 300 meters at this point.
Yeah, it is. We've got Kim, we've got Bibby, we've got Scotty Weiss. Come on.
Big number.
Oh, look at those numbers, all the red. We have got Christensen and Bibby and Little. Who is going to take it? The thumbs are dropping. There's another arrow. Purificati, Bibby, and Weiss. It is anybody's game, and if I see at the end, I'm seeing Bibby.
Oh, my goodness. Oh my goodness, we'll get the details. Looks like Bibby comes away. Purificati in second place.
And by fractions here. Scotty Weiss
no
and Kim.
Kidding. That was ridiculous. I don't think anybody in this room expected that you would have 7 guys vying for that big finish.
All within a second of each other.
No kidding,
yes.
All within a second. If this were a GC race, we would have it. We've got one big sprint still to come here. There's money on the line, people.
There is.
Paul Delabo, all in that group. He's jumping out ahead. We want to see this big sprint on the course. We got to see what Paul's doing on course here. Unbelievable. We got a big finish coming in here. Paul comes around him at the end. He's not going to have that. He's going to push around him at the end, and he's going to tell Timmy, thank you very much for hanging out with me, but I'm going to take this next spot. And they come across, boom, boom. Both of them still in the money. This is going to shake up the middle of this race quite a bit. So exciting. Unbelievable. I can't even believe what we're watching here.
Yeah, that was some kind of finish. It's really one of those ones that are too close to call. Like you see the avatars moving, you see the lines moving, and you're really, really counting on the telemetry to tell you what happens there at the end. But there was a little dig there at the end. We had Ryan Christensen and Kim and Scotty. They're all trading places at the end. Yeah. It was very, they all wanted it.
They all did.
Wanted it. And there's another stage.
I know.
So
this is not yet determined.
It is not over. So, those points, those little fractions of a point are really going to determine a lot of placement.
They are, and we'll get you those numbers here momentarily as we try to pull them down. So many great people chiming in all across social media. People are loving these races. It doesn't matter which side you're on. If you're here in the European zone here, or if you're back in the States or Canada, or Mexico or Japan, wherever you're watching from. If you're watching from Narnia, if you're watching from Middle Earth, it doesn't matter. You're into this race, whatever time. And by the way, it's only 2 hours later in Middle Earth, so they can watch these live.
I've been wondering how that time zone calculation
really is.
works.
The Mordor zone, I think, they're on a funky, daylight savings will drop that. But we want to jump down right now to Coach Hunter Allen with just a little bit of feedback from Bibby. It looked like he was struggling early, but managed somehow to get this sprint win.
Yes.
All right, I'm here with winner Ian Bibby. This is 2 for 2. So, Ian, tell me what happened right there at the very end.
The start was, the legs hadn't really come around at all then, so it was hard, and the upper climb, I had to go the last time, but the legs were still pretty sore. So I just wanted to keep an eye out on the descent, make sure no one uses an Allenby aero and gets away. And one lad used the feather on the descent, and I just thought if I just hang in and hold him, I knew I saved an aero boost for a couple of laps, hoping that if I didn't get away in the climb, I could have a go on the sprint. So just waited about 400 and hit it, and just didn't even look, to be honest. I didn't want to look in case anyone was coming, but luckily no one did. So it was good.
So you were using those advantages, those power-ups, those feathers, those drafts to your advantage in the game to help you.
Yeah, I went around before this asking people for tips, and got a few friends who do it, and he gave me a few pointers about watching for the aero stuff on the descent, especially on this course. Once I got that early on, I just thought, unless I'm in trouble, I'll save it for the finish, because and sprinting on here, it's if you've not got one of them, it's pretty hard. So Yeah.
All right. And what do you think? I mean, you got the criterium up next. What's your strategy?
I don't know. I'm going to find out what the points situation is, but hopefully with it being flat, if it comes down to another sprint, just have to sort of get to the front and sprint it out, hopefully.
All right.
And see another sprint like that, and hopefully it should be all right.
All right. Excellent. A lot of money on the line here, so good luck. You know, you're doing the right thing. So 2 for 2 so far. Congratulations. All right, back to you guys.
Awesome.
All right. Well, we have the final official here
Yes, we do.
on that sprint. It was Ian Bibby, Purificati, Weiss, and Kim Little. So
Yes.
those are the 4 there, and then after that was Drew Jean. So
Yes.
those are the top 5.
Yep.
And you know, those points will all be tabulated, and we'll have an idea of, you know, what those positions came from stage 1 to stage 2.
So Bibby, you know, he's talking about strategy. Great question by Coach, as we would expect. That you know, what's your strategy moving forward? And he very aptly said, you know, it's actually dependent on those points and seeing who his tight rivals are. And what a savvy thing to say. Now, he won the first 2 stages. Clearly, he came away on the climb. He managed to outsprint this field of 7 like punchers. It was a street fight. It was a Friday night wrestling brawl. Everybody in the cage match simultaneously. And here's how it shakes out. 1 through 7 in that. Well, let's give you 1 through 10 in the points. With 2 stage wins, we've got our guy Ian Bibby at the top with 40 total points. He is in the driver's seat of this. Shortly behind him, the guy that you would expect to see there with the world champion stripes, Scotty Weiss. He's got 29 points. To point out here, that is a significant difference in the points. It's going to take something dramatic, maybe an Angela Mann level mechanical to keep him out of that top bit. But that doesn't mean that we're not fighting for that second position. Scotty Weiss with 29 points, Justin Purificati with 27. In that 4th position, Ryan Christensen, the instigator of all of that mayhem on the field there, not far behind him, and that gets him down there in the points as well. He's right there. Anything can happen in this mid-zone right here. Kim Little also connected to that group, full of fireworks. But this course changes everything. We're going to drop now into our crit course.
That's right, the crit course. Now, it's pretty much a flat course.
Yes.
And so this isn't really favors for those watt mashers, but all of these guys are so strong. And what we're seeing here is we're not seeing those same dynamics that we saw yesterday.
No.
So yesterday we saw, you know, our climbers break away on the climbs.
Yes.
We saw kind of what we expected to happen in a single stage race. But with these different stages, people are having to call on the tools within themselves to do things maybe a little bit outside their comfort zone. So
True.
So although, you know, a flat course might, you know, really favor a time trialist or a crit racer, you know, it's still anybody's. With the way people are racing today, it is. Everyone brought their A game today.
They did. And you can see what they can potentially win in this. Now, they'll continue to go up throughout the day, the women's races as well. But think about it in these terms, right? You've got Bibby and Purificati in this collection here. And they're definitely at the top. Christensen also at the top of that group points-wise. They're doing really, really good work. However, there's some guys who are probably mathematically out of this in case maybe a portal opens up and sucks them all into the nexus and they get super points, you know, and leveling up. Probably not going to happen. I don't know that CVR has that planned for today. So their race is a very different kind of race. Theirs is a race for teammates if they have them, and there's not a lot of that happening here. Although perhaps there is for Scotty and for maybe Kim.
Yep.
But theirs is a race for someone like Andy Jackson, who's going to want to be near there and maybe take and steal some thunder from these guys. That would be a real coup to see if one of these riders, Paul Delabote, Andy Jackson, Tim Fulford, right, Sean Gray, who's climbed up the rankings quite a bit in the last little bit, has actually jumped Fulford. One of those guys could really create a brand new story in this race, something different from Ian Bibby kicked our butts. Right?
I don't know. I think that's the storyline Ian wants us to tell.
Right, I'm sure that it is. I'm sure that it is. Well, you know what? I think that we're going to have to see just a little bit more here. We've got headphones around everybody. Ryan Christensen cranking up the ace of base right now, wants to get further up the list. Let's talk about how this is going to change the overall. We've just got 8 seconds here. We're going to have this exciting panic start.
Gate
right.
will drop.
And here it goes. Tell us what's going on, Beth, here.
All right,
Boom.
Coming out of the gate, we're going to see a lot of red numbers, as we expect on these races. People come right out and just basically trying to, like, get out in front of it and not get dropped. I don't see any of these guys getting dropped out of the gate. Spread big numbers kind of coming out of the gate there. We've got Scotty Weiss at the front, Justin Purificati, Sean Gray is up there, Fulford, Kim Little. All of these guys said, nope, we're going, and we're not going to get left behind.
Right. Purificati, in his view, making sure that he keeps those gaps to a minimum right there. Everybody else swamping up and around, making sure that they stay in this. Now, here's what is exciting. The first and the second place, and I'm sure Ian Bibby is not going to let this money go away.
No.
More than $3,000 to the first place winner of this race. It drops down to $2,000, more than $1,000 difference, actually. You can see all these numbers at cycleview.cycleagentrankings.com. And then another $500 and another $500 all the way to walk down to fourth place. Then it becomes a little bit more incremental. That's the way the money rolls off here for these guys. There's still a lot of money to be won, but you know what? Another $15 in bragging rights that I beat this guy.
It looks like Scotty Weiss is out in front. He's dropping some power there and getting a little bit of a gap, actually.
Boy, he's going to want to make his guy work here. I don't think he's going to let anything happen here. Now, we know this corner really well. For those of us who attended or watched CVR London, Scotty is coming up on the big right-hander here, a turn that he did not want to make in London. He is about to make right now. Thankfully, we've got those flashing arrows across his beautiful backside, and it is confirming that he's going to make the right turn onto the correct course here. He definitely wants to get up there. He's not leaving anything to chance. Now, Ian Bibby right behind him is definitely going to pull him back. He's getting right-ons from the field. As we see Bibby's view, we see Scotty come right back. We see how close they are. Scotty will back off now just a little bit. We've got that polka dot jersey in the group. That means we have a stellar mountain climber, somebody who won that jersey in the group. That is exciting to see. And everybody collects around again. And so this is going to be this interesting middle stage. They have established that no one's going to get away at this point. We may see some punches thrown early, but there's still quite a bit of racing left to do.
That's right. We've got 3 laps on the Volcano here. Pretty much a flat course. Just a couple spots where someone might try to get away. I don't know on the first lap or so, but
big push around the outside. You know what? That is not one of our racers here.
No.
One of the interesting things is until we have this solo queue, this invite queue in the group, we're going to have some folks want to sneak in the race and prove that they can do some stuff. We won't call those names. We're focused on our riders who are in the room right here, and we want to pay good attention to them. Scotty still drilling it on the front. We definitely want to keep this group together. Scotty Weiss making sure that he stays right at the front of this group, making sure that he can see everything that's going on. Now, it's interesting to see what types of power-ups they've picked up. Some of these power-ups might just be kind of worthless here. Ooh, big dig around the outside. Delabot wants to create a storyline with his name in it, make the front pages of this third stage, but these guys aren't going to let him, are they, Beth?
No, they're not. I don't think anyone's getting anywhere. I mean, that was what was so special about watching Conabear in her heat. You know, open it up on this. That's a very hard thing to do, to open it up on this flat course like that. But, you know, what we've seen is, sometimes a teammate will go ahead and make the other riders do a little bit of work and bring it back. But, we got something dropped right there.
Oh, very interesting. You know what? And as they're coming up on the arch, they're probably trying to drop stuff they don't want.
Yep.
Or you know what, Paul? Definitely his heart rate is really high. He wants to make sure that he doesn't get severed off the back here. This is really an important moment for him to stay connected there, stay in contact with that group. He'll come under. We'll see that magical big bucks, no whammies, stop. And hope. Oh, he got the big. Scotty Weiss did get the big plus. 250 fake points that will move him that much closer to level 26, which I'm sure is just around the corner for him. I sat down with some of the folks at Zwift this last week, and that was one of the sore spots that I may have tease them just a little bit. I talked about something being as difficult as moving from level 25 to 26. Famously, they have not created that level 26 yet. So those of us who have been at level 25 may have been so for many,
It might be
years.
just like the 13th floor, right? They may just skip it. You'll just come, when you come back in, all those accumulated points will put you at like 29.
I think you're right. That would be 2 times 13. I think that there's probably something to that. As we dig into this group, and we're heading out onto the flat section, we're outside at the water level. We're about to get the climb, the only climb on this that we'll see 3 times on this lap. We have not yet completed a full lap of this course. That really signaled the start. All of this is prologue, but now the actual circuit race begins. This is the course you're going to see from here on out, Scotty Weiss, hanging near the front.
Now, this course is really fun because the laps kind of go by fast. And if you've spent any time on Zwift, you have an idea of how long it takes for you to go around on when you're at threshold or when you're doing a training ride. So you have a pretty good indication. And what's nice about riding this course is you can kind of make some calculations. Whether you are looking at power or heart rate, because sometimes that goes out the window because you're just trying to keep with the group and you're not looking at those things. So maybe you're glancing at time and saying, how much time, how fast am I going to be able to do this lap?
Right.
And I think yesterday we saw all kinds of records being broken on laps.
Oh boy, right there, and we hear it in the ear too, Coach, making some coaching advice right here. We're going to hang on from going to Hunter because I think we're about to see some fireworks right here on this one and only climb. And yes, we see a feather drop to see how close he can stay connected. This is not a keep me at the front of the race. This is a keep me in the race desperation drop. And we see on board here also with the drop of that aero helmet as well. It's ticking down. Matthew Drujon, who's our rider right now, just trying to stay in that group. Everybody knew this was a moment where they could be in big trouble if they didn't match the group. This is less of the dictating of very specific riders and more the excitement created by trying to just stay connected to the group. I don't even know that there's a bona fide leader on the course right now. It's just every man for himself trying to survive.
It's a big hunk of group. Well, someone might be pulling to the front there.
Yeah, Justin Pierficati trolling the front there. He was one of the guys who got up the hill a little bit quicker. He's a lighter rider. He is also a stronger rider in the climbs. You can tell by those polka dotted jerseys. He does not have the measles and a terrible white skin. He actually earned that jersey for climbing the previous stage, the KOM section, basically from Hanks to the top, faster than any of the other riders on the course or in this race. But this is the last stage of this, the men's elite race. Lots of money on the line and a lot of pride too.
Yeah, and we've been talking a lot about building that prize purse, but people race in Zwift all the time without one. It is, there are throwdowns.
Yes, yes.
So these guys are used to sort of racing and digging deep and finding that spot. And look at Kim Little at the front there. Okay.
Yes. So we're going to take this opportunity here, although we're ramping up just a little bit. We hear the whining. We're going to jump to Coach real quick to get his input. We may not be able to get into the ear of Kim Little with his concentration, but what are you seeing down on the floor, Hunter, right now as these guys throw down hard?
Well, what's happening is this is the neuromuscular power that they're using, the ability to go hard and then recover quickly. These are intervals, these are efforts of 5 to 15 seconds where they are maximum efforts, 800, 1,000, 1,200 watts we've seen. Big numbers, and then what they're having to do then is to just chase those riders, chase those attacks, stay on the wheels, and that's what's happening right here. We got Kim Little right here. He's an expert at this. He's done this many times, raced a ton, raced for years and years and years. He's great at this neuromuscular power, this on and this off, and this on and this off, and that's what you're seeing here in this group dynamic. It seems like everybody's just kind of rolling around as one, but in reality, they are going super hard and then they're having to recover a little bit and super hard and recover a little bit. That's different than having the sustained, steady state power that we saw in the very first stage. That climb, that is a completely different effort than this kind of criterium type effort here. So I know that Kim is working really hard. I'm not going to bother him. He's focused. He's really going for it. You see him out of the saddle right here. He's doing another hard burst, and he's going to be back down in the saddle. Neuromuscular power, you got to have it. back to you guys.
Awesome.
If
Thanks,
anyone
Coach.
has that neuromuscular power, it's
That's right.
Mr. Kim Little right there.
No kidding. And that savvy, too. His head is on a swivel. He's gathering every single piece of data to make sure he stays at the front. And as we look at his power profile, we see that he's really trying to stay in that tempo zone there unless he has to dip into the red. But obviously, that guy can put out some power and does it. But that is the mark of a savvy rider. We see that beautiful burst of confetti as they come under. Somebody got a hot lap, and that's exciting. Now, Ian Bibby trolling the front here. He is really just trying to hang on. Lots of ride-ons dropping all over the place. So many fans watching this on so many different platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitch, or you're watching on the CycleView site directly picking the riders you want to see. You'll find that everyone is excited to see how this race is going to turn out. This is by far, Beth, the most exciting CVR World Cup event that we have had, period.
Ever. Yeah, this three-stage format is just a game changer. I mean, it's kind of creating a whole other type of in the game, because we haven't seen this type of a race in the game before.
No, we haven't. And this is a huge, tight group you're looking. I'm not used to seeing a race like this. Usually you see one guy or two guys, maybe three guys off the front, and then just a collection of people in the back. This is a group of world-class folks who have qualified for this race, and we see how they've qualified for this race. Kim Little, Mathieu Drujon, right? Paul Delabote, Sean Gray, Tim Fulford, all in the mix right here. Andy Jackson, Justin Purificati, Scotty Weiss, and our leader on the course and in the hearts of the ladies, Ian Bibby, hanging on the front here, making that serious face, trolling the front. He is in that third view, that three view, which is that first person view, making sure that he knows the gaps between he and the other riders and closes those down really quick. Now, the only thing that can break his hope right now for a perfect opportunity to win this, probably he's going to stay near the front unless there's something crazy that happens. Andy Jackson right now on the front a little bit as well. Is if he drops significantly down. There's only two guys that can beat him by my calculations, Chris versus Math. Right, we need a drop for that. It's Scotty Weiss and Justin Purificati. But in order for Scotty Weiss to beat him, Scotty's got to finish first, and he's got to finish 6th or worse. Justin Purificati finished first. He's got to finish Ian Bibby 8 or worse. And we come around to this lap right here. They are flying through this course. What are we going to do with all this extra time? We may have to just kind of go through our phones and read our text messages to the crew here. We're going to have so much time between these races. They're coming around here. Paul Delabot wants to stay connected to what's going on, and everybody is staying connected. This is going to come down to a sprint finish, Beth.
It is going to come. All of these riders are saying, I am strong, I deserve to be here. Not one person isn't looking strong right now. So it's really going to come down to who wants it the most, and it was a photo finish on the last stage. I think we're going to have another one of those photo finishes where we're not going to be able to call it.
No kidding. This is out of control. We have 7, 8, 9 riders at the front of this group drilling it at the same time. Somebody call me a veterinarian, because these dogs are sick.
But we still have one lap to go.
One lap to go. They're all at the front here drilling it, doing everything that they can. I'm pretty sure that Scotty Weiss has got parvo. You can see it foaming in his mouth. He's one of these big dogs at the front doing everything he can to make sure that this happens. Now, Purificati, those polka dot stripes, always trolling the front. He's trying to get in front of his guy. Really, if I'm making a guess here, the real race is between Justin Purificati and Scotty Weiss. Maybe Andy Jackson can break those. That is that spot for second. Ian Bibby is probably going to come away with this. Will he win the race? I doubt it. I don't think he's going to get that hat trick.
No. Okay, that's your prediction.
What's yours?
Well, I'm not counting him out. I just saw that happen in the last race. It would be kind of amazing if two riders were that dominant in all three stages, because these stages really do favor different types of riders. So that's just a testament to sort of the strength of these riders and the matchups that we're facing. But I think there are enough people in here that aren't going to let him do that.
No,
but even if it doesn't mean it changes their position in the race, I think there's people who are going to dig in and say, no, you don't. Ian.
At the end of that last race, we saw over on the other side of the arena a big piece of granite and an artist starting to chisel away to make that Ian Bibby statue. But they've paused just briefly. They're looking back at the Scotty Weisses, the Justin Purificatis, the Ryan Christensens, the Andy Jacksons, who really believe that there's an opportunity for them to take this stage, and it's going to be a big sprinter that does it. We saw Ian Bibby actually with the big sprint come down here. They're going to have to be really savvy. They're going to make sure that they have the right power up and they go at the right time.
That's right.
If this is a 300-meter race, I think it's Ian Bibby's race to win and to lose. But if it goes out a little bit earlier, crazy things can happen. And we are coming to the close of this. This is a 14K race. Well, it's a little bit over 7 miles. It's coming to a close. We're inside the final mile right now. This is exciting stuff.
It is going to be so tough to call.
So tough to call. And so as we're coming up here, big finish. The arc in the piece here, we're seeing it. Fulford wants this himself. Kim Little right in the slipstream here. Big pushes coming around. They are digging. They're coming up and over. They're going to push through this. No one's going to get away with this final lap. And as we ring the bell, ding, 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 ding. 1 to go, 1 to go, 1 to go. Everybody drops that can drop unless they've got the perfect power up that they want. I think that there's a couple of these guys that may have actually forgotten to get a power up because they are so in the hurt
They
box.
are so focused. You know,
That's
sometimes
right.
you're not thinking about that. I've raced so many times and not used what I had
Yep.
because I just wasn't thinking about it. I was too focused on just surviving and holding on by your fingernails. You know,
Yes.
you are really. You know, we look at these riders and they have their game face on, and yeah, they look like they're hurting, but on the inside, what they're not showing. They're not showing what's going on the inside. And these are
No, they're
elite.
not.
These are elite athletes. But still, they're human beings that feel pain.
Right. Yes, they're. Well, allegedly. Although Tim Fulford may not actually be human.
They might be computer chips in circuitry.
Yes,
I mean,
he is, and people don't know this. Tim Fulford is actually part cyborg. It picks up a little bit here on the bottom stretch here. Andy Jackson on the front. He's got that stank face on. He's been listening to a lot of Beyonce as well. He definitely wants to make sure that he's in this. He's not happy with the first two finishes for him in the first two stages, and he's positioning himself on the front, near the front, ready to show everyone what he's made of. And this is the kind of thing that really can benefit a guy like Jackson and also benefit a guy like Ryan Christensen as he drills down to the front here. Wow, a big push. Ryan Christensen finds himself off the back. This is unfortunate. He doesn't want to burn this match right now. He's certainly strong enough to come in and to fill in that distance to make sure he stays on. But you know what? You don't need those extra digs.
No, you don't need those. Like 5 seconds of that is enough to just to break you down a little bit. Just
now, yeah, exactly. In an early race, you might call that an opener. In this race, you call that a closer because those guys are closing down your ability to stay connected to this group. And you do too many of those, and then there's one call that you can't answer. It goes directly to your voicemail. And his voicemail, Andy Jackson's voicemail, directly says, "I'm sorry, I can't talk right now. I'm in the hurt box." Kim Little making sure that he's near the front of this thing, and these guys come around him. It's hard to see who's at the front here, but Bibby is not letting it go very far. He's reeling him in. He's the cowboy.
Up there, Bibby.
Nice
Wise.
work.
Yes.
Somebody has taken away his toys and he wants them back. Ian Bibby says, "These are mine and I'm taking these going home for the rest of the day." This is an exciting race, Beth. We are nowhere near the end here. It's just kind of coming to the close here in the final lap. Anything can happen. We're going to see the money distributed at the end of this, and we're coming into the Caldera for the last time. Any big thoughts before we take it to the finish?
It's getting hot in here.
Oh, there we go. We did not pay for that, but it's definitely what's playing in Ian Bibby's micro right now as we come to the course. We're probably going to stay on Bibby because he is the guy to beat right now as we come to the, we're going to see this in the course. We're back in the Caldera. These guys are so dizzy, they don't know where they are. Loopy, you might describe them.
Just inside 2 kilometers.
They're looking up ahead, and they can't tell if the guy in front of them might be Andy Jackson or might be Chuck E. Cheese. They don't know at this point. Chuck E. Cheese will hand you tokens. Andy Jackson will hand you pain and sorrow. That's how you know the difference between these two guys. Now, Ian Bibby takes over the front again. He wants this hat trick. Can you talk about the beautiful magic of that hat trick that Carrie Conover got?
Yeah, so Carrie Conover is such an amazing racer, and yesterday she found herself caught in between groups and was time trying and efforted, but she didn't quite make the cut to the elite race today, but she proved today that she is a force, and she took all 3 stages of the race.
Oh, this is just nuts. They're
will
lining
Ian
out
repeat
quite a
that?
bit more.
Will Ian repeat that?
That is the question. That is the story. That is the question we still have to answer here. Or is somebody going to steal that from him, and it will bug him for the rest of his life? If it's Justin Purificati, he'll like Justin, but he'll hate Justin for breaking up his hat trick. He'll never forgive him. The first trio race in the CVR World Cup here in Paris. Justin taking that quintessential smile off his face and starting to put on his game face. He pulled it out of his back pocket, slid that game face mask on.
That's right.
And we're coming into the big finish
less
here.
than a kilometer
We've
to go.
got a famous person in the building. I'll tell you who that is in just a moment. Don't let that go. Oh, we see a drop. This is Ian Bibby, and he's dropping that draft boost, but he's not getting any draft boost. He comes around. This may be the wrong time. This may really cost him. These guys say, you know what? That's not what you think it is, bro. We're coming around, and we see some big ones as they come into the caldera. The famous person standing at the edge of the arena right now is none other than the man who's going to yell. And it's big. He's yelling right here, release the Kraken. Ian Bibby comes around. He's going to see him. Oh, he's taking it away, but it's not done. The big gap around the top. Justin Purificati right in that group as well, coming around him. Unbelievable. Ian Bibby is not going to have it. It is none other than Scotty Weiss.
Took it from him.
Real.
He shut that down.
Liam Neeson, yes. Liam Neeson shows up just in time. Liam Neeson shows up just in time to step on the course and yell, release the Kraken. And the man who releases it is Scotty Weiss. Getting love there from Quentin Lefebvre, who raced earlier today. Bibby, happy to come away with the win, but not happy that he couldn't take that trifecta. You can never count Scotty Weiss out.
Never.
We saw that in London when, after making the wrong turn, no fault of his own, he clawed his way back, not to the middle, but near the front of that race, all alone. Big thumbs up from Scotty Weiss. This is why people have trading cards of Scotty Weiss in their room. This is why I wear a Scotty Weiss t-shirt under my polos. This is why Scotty Weiss is now the man that they're creating a statue over there. Beth, what in the crap happened at the end of that race?
Oh my gosh. Well, no one was going into that sprint without giving Ian a run for his money. It might not even have been about their own finish at that point. We had a lot of power, I saw a lot of things dropping, and it was like just masses, and then coming around like that. That was just beautiful. I think you might be the president of the Scotty fan.
You know what? I'm impressed with Scotty every time, but he was not alone.
He was not alone.
There were 7 just crazy riders. They were crazy like a pack of wild dogs.
Purificati was in there. Everybody.
They were crazy like kindergartners going for tater tots. It was out of control. And so now we are going to find out, as the calm comes upon us, the happy blanket of Coach Hunter, to find out how Scotty feels about what he was able to do and steal that little McDonald's Playland prize out of Ian Bibby's Happy Meal.
All right, I'm down here with the winner, Scotty Weiss. Scotty, our climber, just won the criterium. Scotty, way to go. How did you do it, man?
Oh, yeah, it's like I kind of missed it on the climb, right? And I'm the climber, so I got the fire inside, so I said I got to come back and I got to get a stage, so I went for it.
Awesome. And where did you go? I mean, you were like a half a kilometer out when you took off. I mean, you were really far out.
Yeah, I wanted to get a nice run, because I don't have the top end power of some of these guys. So I figured if I got a nice run, shoot the draft and just take it.
Awesome. And did you drop? Did you have a feather? Did you have an arrow?
Finally, I had a helmet. Nice. Yeah, I didn't have one in the race previous. So that really helped.
Man, what does this feel like? I mean, you've won tons of bike races in real life. You won world championships. What does this feel like?
Oh, I want to rank this up there with the top because, we're in this incredible place, the Velodrome here in France, and it's like, it's amazing. With the talent they have here and, all the validation and everyone is here watching and cheering, it's fantastic.
Wow, that is so exciting. Super exciting. Congratulations. What a deserved win. You got it. That was a huge effort by Scotty Weiss. Our climber just won the criterium. It shows you the diversity of what happens in this race at CVR. And, I'm just amazed at how incredibly difficult all of this racing is, and all these riders have given their best. So, wow. Great job. Back to you, Chris and Beth.
You know, if Hunter is impressed,
Yeah.
he's kind of a tough audience, right?
He is a tough audience.
He works with all types of athletes across
No
the board,
kidding.
but he does have a group of elites that he does work with. So if he says it's tough,
then it's tough. That is the straight truth. Absolutely. Boy, and this is such an exciting event. And you know what I'm hoping is that we'll get Hunter just to get a few words from Ian Bibby, who we can confirm now is our overall leader. We're going to give you that rundown of the overall here shortly. But I think it'd be great to get in there and just get a little bit from our guy Bibby. You know what? It'd be great actually to get Bibby standing next to Justin Birvicati, which we may be able to do here, to get a little back and forth. Yeah, that would be fabulous to get that as well. But we can confirm the overall winner right now. The top prize is Ian Bibby. Scotty Weiss keeps it in the family. He makes sure that he wins that stage, doesn't give a single spot to Justin Birvicati, and that 20 points helps him do that. Birvicati holds that third position, does not lose it to Christensen or Little. But how about Kim Little? Third ranked overall CVR standings, fifth in this World Cup Paris event, climbs to the top, doesn't let any of these newcomers, these wonderfully experienced outdoor riders, he doesn't let them break down his opportunity to be in the money here as well either.
Not at all, not at all. I mean, such a strong field. You know,
Yes.
in its fractions of seconds here.
Yes.
And that really just sort of shows sort of the caliber of athlete that we have here. You know, because there's no big, no big cuts here. It's everybody's in that top tier.
Yes.
And it's been amazing to see how they all have deployed their strategies,
No kidding.
and Weiss shutting down Bibby at the end.
Yeah, no kidding. And in fact, Bibby, with a little bit of a response, it's got to be bittersweet, doesn't it, Coach? You're going to have to ask him how he feels. He wins it, but he doesn't win everything.
I know, it's really exciting. Ian, 2 out of 3. How was it tough to get second in that one, or are you feeling good overall? How are you feeling?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Scott was riding brilliant. It was really strong, and I was trying all right to try and get a power up for the sprint because I knew it was going to be hard to get away. And I was worried if Scott won it and I got maybe fourth in the sprint, he could take the overall. So I was desperately trying to get a power up, but I never got one. And I went to the front a bit early then, had to back off and went again. But luckily, I got second. Scott had an aero boost and hit me and come past me, and I was expecting a load more, but luckily I hung on and got second, so happy.
Wow, congratulations. I mean, overall win, you got the overall win, first in the first stage, first in the second stage, second in the third stage. You know, how's that feel?
It's brilliant, yeah. It's a nice end to my season as well. I've got a nice holiday now, so yeah, good way to end the season.
Beautiful, beautiful. I mean, I know we were talking earlier, you just finished the Tour of Britain, legs still a little bit sore, and now you got this little bit more training stress in the legs. It's like you said, time to rest. What are you going to do next week for training? You're just going to ride easy? What are you doing? I'm going to have a couple of weeks off now. I've been racing since the 1st of Jan in Australia and haven't really stopped until now, so I'll have 2 or 3 weeks off, go to the gym, do a few different sports and just sort of enjoy it and then get back into it for next year. So, due a holiday. Perfect. A well-deserved holiday. Congratulations. I mean, that's an awesome effort today. You got the top prize, some money to put in the bank, maybe spend a little bit, save for Christmas, whatever. So that's really, really great. Congratulations. We're really glad you're part of CVR. Thanks for coming.
Cheers. Yeah, it's been great. So hopefully there's some more in the future. Be good.
All right, awesome. There you hear it from our overall winner, Ian Bibby. He is the man today here in Paris, France. And what an effort. Congratulations to Ian Bibby. Back to you guys.
Well, back to me. Beth has gone off. I'll tell you about that in just a second. But, you know, I hope that he's saving for Christmas, but don't spend it all on Christmas because my birthday's not long after that, and I am an extra medium. So, Ian Bibby, you definitely want to get your commentators' gifts so that we call all the races for you the way that you want. This has been an outstanding race, so thank you for joining us. Lots of great things happening. We'll give you a little bit of update on the prize pool, and we've got some prizes to give away here in just a moment as well. But you want to know how this turned out. If you're part of our CycleView app, you know that we blinked here just a minute. That is due to the traffic on the site. It's still a robust site, but oh my goodness, there's so much fan support for what's going on out there. So let me tell you how this breaks down with the race that you just saw. The third stage of this CVR World Cup Paris three-stage race. If you're just jumping in, you've missed some fireworks here, but don't worry, you're going to be able to see that in many forms moving forward. We are using the videotape here. I don't know if it's going to be on Betamax or VHS. Maybe we'll burn it to DVD for you. We'll put it on the interwebs. I'll post it on my MySpace page, and we'll make sure that it's available to you. But Scotty Weiss managed to win this race. Now, he did a great job, found himself in second place, in third place, in preceding, but Ian Bibby was the runaway winner. But this flat one, he did not have the opportunity to get away or to break up the group. That is really important. Ian Bibby could not create the separation necessary to be able to really move anyone around, which put him in a pack of wild dogs, a pack of kindergartners going after chicken nuggets. He could not get away. And because of that, it allowed other people. He made, in my opinion, it's kind of a big mistake there at the end. He had in his cadre this one and only beautiful draft power-up. It's not the most powerful. He didn't get the arrow like he wanted, but that draft power-up he fired too early. And so when he did that, he allowed himself to drift to the front where that power-up has no more value. That's part of the strategic part of this esport, something worth pointing out. But here is your final lineup. You're like, Chris, will you get to it? I will. Scotty Weiss wins the third stage. Bibby takes second. He wasn't far behind. He stayed high in the points. Andy Jackson redeems himself with a podium finish here. He was not happy with his climb. He was not really happy with the sprint at the end of the second stage, the 2 laps of Watopia Hilly reverse. Right after him, we see Justin Purificati, who was kind of the instigator in the end of that. And we thought Purificati might hang on, but it was just milliseconds that put him there. Christensen in 5th. Kim Little keeping high in the standings, as high as he can. Mathieu Jean in that 6th or 7th position. Delabote, Gray, and Fulford in that order. That is your finishing order, and it was such a tight group. Overall, here are your champions, and we'll go to the awards here in just a moment. We have Bibby on the top. He wins the overall 3-stage piece. We've got Scotty Weiss in second. That is clear. Purificati. We've got Christensen, Little, Jackson, Drujon, Delabote, Gray, and Fulford, all in that order. Fantastic performances. They have made this an unbelievable CVR World Cup Paris. Now, here's what's coming up. We want to find out just a little bit more about Justin Purificati's race, and then we'll bring it back for some awards and some closing thoughts. So let's go to Coach and our guy, Justin Purificati.
Hey, I'm here with Justin. Justin, tell us a little bit about the race. How'd it go for you?
I think it went all right. I mean, the hill climb was pretty tough, trying to keep up with Scotty Weiss and Ian, and Ryan, of course, bit of the underdog, just climbing away from me. So just tried to hang on as much as I could, and the other 2 races was just about being consistent and try and come ahead of those guys and just try and be really consistent, get as many points as I can. And I think in the end it worked out all right. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there in the criterium at the end, I mean, were you having trouble staying in the pack? Were you okay in the pack? I mean, how was that group?
It's actually doing all right. I mean, I was hoping it would be a little harder. I mean, it was pretty easy to sit in, so I tried a couple of digs to see if I can get a little bit of a selection going, but the group was going pretty fast, so nothing was really going to get away, but definitely could have done with a harder race.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like that's a criterium, right, where it's just like everybody's right on the wheel. You're sitting in the draft, you're hanging out and waiting for the big sprint finish. In the sprint finish, where were you when the sprint started?
I was a little too far back. I wasn't expecting the guys to start lining it up over a kilometer out, so I was caught out a bit of position, but I managed to make up a few spots near the end.
And they look like a really long sprint, you know. I mean, I know that you're more of a climber guy, but from the sprint, I imagine that the longer the better. So that probably suited a little bit as you caught people, as you said.
Oh, for sure. It's not the snappiest guy, but if it's long enough drag, I can turn over that gear long enough.
Yep. Good. Now, overall, how did this whole event feel to you? What's your thoughts overall thinking about it?
I thought it was great. I mean, it's definitely a different format than the past events. I mean, having multiple events with different courses that suit different abilities, I think it makes for a more rounded event and definitely makes things a little more interesting.
Good, and then that also gives it, you know, riders with different abilities their chance to shine. So I hope that you know, that kind of gave you that feeling too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, everyone's got different strengths, and when you have different courses like that, it definitely gives everyone a chance to shine.
Awesome. Well, you know, you can really tell here, I mean, the fact that, you know, there are 3 different stages, and from that perspective, you have riders who have the ability to have a really strong sprint, that neuromuscular power, riders who have the functional threshold power, they can ride right at their threshold on the big climbs. You have riders who can go back and forth, that is really an indicator of a rider who can do a little bit of everything, an all-arounder, so to speak, that works for the road race. So all of those things are really critical as you think about the 3 stages. So let's roll back to Chris and let's see what we've got going on. Chris, how's it going?
Oh, we are giving it away. Everything must go. We're giving it all away. Actually, we're making sure that we're paying off some of the prizes here. In the lead up to the World Cup here, we saw a lot of really cool social media out there. They decided that they would give a number of things away still in the balance today. A lot of CVR swag and an Alienware Alpha R2 computer, i7, really cool. So we're going to give away those 2 towels first of all. So, or a towel and a t-shirt rather. Excuse me, Stu Sikowski right here wins that first towel, and we've got Evgenovich also getting that t-shirt. We love these folks. Thank you so much for participating. We'll notify you by mail as well, and you can come in here to the radio station and pick those up. No, we'll send them to you. Don't worry about it. I think back to the old days when I used to, you know, listen as a kid to the radio station. You really wanted a prize. It was maybe a crappy coffee mug, but you'd go down to the station and you'd see those creepy DJs and you'd get your mug and you'd be like, I won something. You tell everybody about it. Our next, folks, this is a big one. Scenic wins the Team X cycling kit. And you're like, who in the world is this? You know what? And who knows? This may be not just a kit that you can wear, but you may be in this team. You may become a domestique to Team X, but you'd be in good company. Folks like Kim Little, in the virtual world, folks like Scotty Weiss. That'd be a good kit to have. And Shrewsbury in the t-shirt win as well. So that is super exciting. And the final one that we get to give away here today in this group, and we're going to give away more, stick around, you could be a big winner, is this next group right here. Super exciting. I'll mention that Alienware that's going to come a little bit later, maybe that top prize. We're not going to give it away now, but how about a CVR backpack? Now, we don't know if this is a brand new backpack or one that's been used by one of these riders, so you might find some really strange things in that bag. If I get to send out your bag, I'll put some cool stuff in it for you as well. But we've got Clogston winning that, and the CVR bundle, which is a collection of really cool CVR things bundled together, because that's how we do it. You see the connection, is Ludwig as well. So thank you for everyone who participated. I'm sure that there's going to be more cool stuff in future events. Who knows? CVR World Cup, the Moon CVR World Cup